Have you ever paused and asked yourself, why does your heart feel heavy, even when life looks perfectly fine on the outside? Why do certain people, memories, or thoughts circle back like shadows, quietly draining your spirit over and over again? You've tried to move forward, but something pulls you back, softly, silently, like gravity on the soul. Imagine carrying a bag of rocks. You can't see it, no one else can, but your shoulders ache, your breath feels short, your thoughts feel cluttered. Those rocks, they are regrets, old grudges, fake friendships, the fear of judgment. And somewhere along the way, this weight becomes your normal. Until one day, you put it down and realize life was never meant to feel this heavy. Welcome to Insightful Journey. If you're tired of the noise of always having to explain your heart, this space is for you. Before we begin, we gently ask, if this message touches you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It takes just a second, but it helps us reach someone who needs this too. Now, breathe. Let's begin. Buddhism teaches, clinging is the root of suffering, but clinging doesn't always scream. Sometimes it's silent. It hides behind your smile, behind a polite message, behind staying close to people who no longer feed your growth. To truly be free, some things must be released, quietly, with no announcement, no revenge, no explanation. Letting go in silence. That's where your power lives. You don't argue, you don't chase, you simply walk away and begin to heal. This isn't cruelty, this is clarity. This is what it means to protect your inner sanctuary. As the Buddha said, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed the past, again and again. So reflect, softly, what have you been holding on to? Is it worth your peace? Because in the sacred silence of letting go, you might finally hear your. Let us walk together, gently, step by step, shedding, softening, severing what no longer serves. Sit down, close your eyes, let your soul exhale, and listen. Not everything that feels close is good for you. Not every smile is sincere. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Sometimes what looks like love is control. What feels like care is dependency. What you believe is loyalty is only fear. This is the trap of toxic attachment. You see, fire warms you, yes, but hold it too long, and it burns. Attachment is like fire. At first, it comforts. Then slowly, without warning, it starts to scorch your peace. We cling out of fear, fear of emptiness, fear of loneliness. But tell me, which is worse, an empty hand or a handful of thorns? Toxic attachments wear many faces. A love that no longer lifts you, a friendship that only takes, a family tie soaked in guilt and exhaustion, even a belief, a habit, a self-image that keeps you small. You keep giving chances, you keep hoping, but deep down you know it's consuming you, quietly, relentlessly, writing your story without permission. And so, the wise one chooses stillness over struggle. They delete, not with rage, but with grace. They leave, not with noise but with peace. You don't need a dramatic goodbye, you don't need closure that never comes. You simply walk away from what poisons your spirit. But isn't that selfish, you ask? No, dear one. It is self-respect. It is choosing peace over performance. It is choosing truth over tolerance. So breathe deep, let go softly, and remember, you are allowed to protect your light, even if it means walking alone for a while. A tree must let go of its dead leaves to grow new ones. Is the tree selfish for letting go? No, it is wise. When you cling to what harms you, you become like a house with shattered windows, open to every storm, vulnerable to every wind. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." But here's what we forget. You can also lose yourself when you keep clinging to what's quietly killing your soul. Let go, not for revenge, not to hurt, but to breathe again, to feel light again, to return to yourself. Some people don't deserve your explanation. Some relationships don't deserve one more try. And some wounds, they're not healed by time. They're healed by distance. When you remove what's toxic, you don't create emptiness. You create space. Space for calm. Space for clarity. Space for joy. So why do we? Because we confuse connection with meaning. We believe time spent equals value. But hear this, 5 years of pain is still pain. 1 day of peace is still peace. Even the Buddha walked away from his palace, his title, his comfort. He understood, clinging to comfort is not the path to truth. He walked alone, quietly. And in that silence, he found freedom. And now, dear one, you too must be brave. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. You only need to choose yourself. And when you do, when you finally let go of that one toxic thing, your world will shift, your breath will deepen, your thoughts will soften, your sleep will return, and your smile, your real smile, will come back. But don't wait for applause. Don't expect a thank you. The toxic may call you cold, may call you selfish. Let them, because this silence is your power. This decision is your wisdom. And this space is your healing. Each time you release what no longer serves your soul, you honor your spirit. So now, breathe. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, what have I held too tightly? What has hurt me more than healed me? What have I stayed loyal to, even though it's been cutting me from within? You already know the answer. You've known it for a long time. Now imagine it fading, not with drama, not with rage, but with a quiet goodbye. That's how peace begins. And let me tell you this with love. You're not weak for walking away. You are strong for choosing your sanity. You are not cold for cutting off what harms you. You are wise for protecting your spirit. In the end, silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of power. When you delete in silence, the universe hears. It responds. It clears the path. It sends new people, new clarity, new energy. But the first step is be gentle but firm, kind but clear, silent but no longer stuck. Release the grip. Let the fire die out. Let the poison dry. Let the rope fall from your tired hands. Your peace is waiting, and it cannot live beside pain. Not all connections are meant to last. Some people come as blessings, others come as lessons. Honor both, but don't let both stay. Let them go, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself. So rise now. Go forward, lighter than yesterday, wiser than before. Silence the noise, silence the guilt, silence the fear, and listen. Do you hear? That's the sound of your peace returning. And it begins when you quietly delete the echoes of the past that were never meant to stay. Come closer, child. Sit with me. Let's talk, not of the world outside, but the one within you. There is something many people carry without knowing. It does not shout. It does not ask, but it follows them everywhere. It is the past. The past is like an echo. You say something once, but long after the voice is gone, the echo remains, bouncing through your mind, reverberating through your chest. You think it's still here, but it's only the memory. These echoes live as pain, as shame, as memories that come to visit in the quiet of the night. Tell me, have you ever sat alone and suddenly remembered something from years ago? A mistake, a regret, a betrayal. And though it's long gone, your body tightens, your breath shortens, your mind spins. That's not the moment. That's the echo. Many carry their past like a backpack they never take off. They wake up with it, eat with it, sleep with it. They smile, they laugh, they even succeed. But deep down, they are tired. So today, may this message be your permission to begin letting go, not with noise, but with stillness, not with anger, but with wisdom, because peace, real peace, always begins in silence. Slowly, it bends their back. breaks their joy, and steals the silence inside them. But here is a truth few understand. You don't have to shout to free yourself. You don't have to tell the world what you're letting go. You can delete the past, quiet like a snake, shedding its skin deep in the forest. You too can walk away from what no longer belongs to you. Buddhism teaches impermanence. Everything changes, nothing stays, and yet we cling to people who've already left, to words that were once said, to choices we regret. But grasping the past is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you hold, the faster it slips away. There was once a monk who held a burning coal in his palm and cried, "Why does it hurt me?" The master replied, "Let go." So simple, so difficult, because some people believe their pain is their identity. They fear that if they let go, they'll forget who they are. But you, dear soul, you are not your wounds. You are not what happened to you. You are not the broken pieces of yesterday. What you are is awareness. You are the silence behind the noise, the breath that continues, the stillness beneath the waves. Let us go deeper. Look within. What memory keeps knocking on your door? A word you wish you never said? A trust betrayed? A chance you never took? Or the fear that your best self is already behind you? These are echoes. They repeat not because they are true now, but because your mind still feeds them. When you stop feeding them attention, they begin to fade, and one day they are gone. You do not need to confront everyone who hurt you. You don't have to fix every broken story. Some stories end without answers. That's okay. Healing doesn't always arrive with closure. Sometimes healing comes in silence, in walking away, in choosing not to carry it anymore. Silence is power. Mountains rise in silence. Trees grow roots in silence. Rivers flow without noise. And in silence, truth reveals itself. So try this. Sit quietly. No phone, no music, just your breath. You'll notice the echoes rise, demanding to be heard. But don't react, just watch them. Like clouds in the sky, they come, they go. The past may knock, but you don't have to answer. In Buddhist practice, mindfulness is the path back to now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, just now. And in this now, there is no pain from the past. There is only breath, only stillness, only peace. Each time the past pulls at you, return to the breath. Let it be your anchor. You are not who you were. You are who you choose to be now. Understand this well. Deleting the past doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means it no longer controls you. The pain no longer drives your actions. The guilt no longer whispers your name. And yes, some will not understand. They may wonder why you're quiet, why you no longer speak of certain things, why you seem distant. Let them wonder. You owe no one an explanation. Your peace requires no permission. You are allowed to be free. Free from echoes. Free from weight. Free from the idea that your past is your prison. Now take a breath. Feel the space inside you. It is bigger than your memories, bigger than your pain, bigger than anything that has happened to you. Now imagine a door in your heart. Gently open it. Behind it lives the pain, the shame, the betrayal, the missed chances, the heartbreak. And one by one, with quiet steps, escort them out. No shouting, no rage, only grace. Say softly, "Thank you for teaching me, but I no longer need you." You see, the past is not your enemy, it was your teacher. But the lesson is over. And when the lesson is over, you turn the page. So delete, not with anger, but with calm. Not with fear, but with peace. Walk forward, lightly. You are no longer the echo, you are the mountain now. And mountains do not look back. The hidden weight of approval. Now come closer, sit with me. Breathe in, and slowly, breathe. Let me tell you a quiet truth. one that hides behind smiles, behind achievements, behind perfect photos, and polite words. Many people, yes, even those who seem confident, are secretly ruled by one quiet need, the need for approval. It shows up in small, invisible ways. When you choose what pleases others instead of what you love. When you silence your truth to avoid disapproval. When you scroll endlessly, watching how many likes your voice is worth. When you hide your pain, your dreams, your wildness, just so the world doesn't label you too much. Tell me, how long will you live like this? Approval is a sweet poison. At first it tastes like sugar. Praise, applause, smiles, it feels good, comforting. But slowly, you begin to depend on it just to feel okay. You start changing, not because it feels right, but because you hope it pleases others. And without realizing, you become a reflection of what others want, not who you truly are. But this is not your fault. From childhood we were taught to be good, to be liked, to fit. Parents, teachers, even friends. They shaped us to match their world. But in that process, we were never taught how to listen to our own soul. So now, as adults, we still chase that gold star. But quietly, internally, and the cost is heavy. In Buddhism, we speak of non-attachment, letting go not just of things, but also of opinions, judgments, and the craving for approval. The Buddha spoke of the 8 worldly winds, praise and blame, gain and loss, fame and disgrace, pleasure and pain. These winds blow through life, but the wise person remains unmoved. Unmoved, that is the goal. Not cold, not indifferent, just steady, rooted, free. But how do we reach that stillness? We begin with noticing. Notice how often you seek approval. Notice when you say yes, though your soul whispers no. Notice when you laugh at what doesn't feel funny. When you give more than you have, just to avoid being judged. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start small. The next time you make a choice, pause and ask, am I doing this because it's true to me, or because I want to be accepted? That single question is where your freedom begins. True peace comes when you no longer need to perform. When you are free from approval, your decisions become lighter. Your words become clearer. Your presence becomes calmer. You begin to live with honesty, not for attention. You begin to choose what is right, not what is liked. You stop chasing applause that was never meant to last. Have you ever seen a tree beg for praise, or a river ask for approval? They simply exist, fully, honestly, effortlessly. You too were born complete, not in need of validation, but in the fullness of being. But somewhere along the way, you were told, you are not enough. Unless someone else says so. That was a lie. You are enough, exactly as you are. Let me tell you a story. A young monk once asked the master, how can I stop caring what others think? The master poured tea into the monk's cup, and kept pouring until it overflowed. Master, cried the monk, the cup is full. The master smiled. So is your mind, full of other people's opinions. Empty it. Only then can you taste your own tea. Your mind is not a vessel for every voice to pour into. Begin emptying it, silently. You don't need to declare, I don't care what others think. That too is performance. That too is seeking. True release is quiet. It shows in your peace, in your soft boundaries, in your calm confidence. When someone praises you, smile, but don't cling to it. When someone criticizes you, listen, but don't be defined by it. This is balance. This is Zen. There is great strength in being unseen, yet fully rooted in your worth. Let me ask you this. If no one clapped for you ever again, would you still dance? If no one liked your work, would you still create? If no one praised your kindness, would you still be kind? The answer to these questions reveals who you truly are. Because the loudest noise in your mind is often not your own. It is the echo of others' voices, teachers, parents, strangers online, people who don't even know your story, yet live in your head like kings. It's time to quietly escort them out. Peace does not live in noise. It lives in stillness, in silence, in truth. You were not born to impress. You were born to express. The flower does not bloom to be seen. It blooms because blooming is what it does. The moon does not shine to earn applause. It shines because it must. Be like that. Be who you are, not who others expect you to be. Approval seeking steals energy. Expression restores it. So breathe, release, and return to yourself. It leaves you exhausted because you're always performing, always hiding, always reshaping, always pretending. And the worst part, it makes you forget the sound of your own voice. The Zen path is not about building a louder identity. It is not about standing out. It is about peeling away the false layers until only the quiet, grounded self remains. Let go. Let go of the need to be liked by everyone. Let go of becoming someone new for every room you enter. Let go of the fear that being your whole self will drive people away. Because here is a truth, whispered only in stillness. When you stop seeking approval, only the right ones will stay. And those are the ones who matter. So walk softly, speak honestly, act gently, live truly, and when the world does not clap for you, smile quietly, and keep walking. Because your peace is not something they gave you. And so it is not something they can take away. This is the power of deleting approval seeking from your life, silently, completely, peacefully. And with that, the master closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and returns to stillness. The lesson is given. Now it is your turn to live it, to let go of the identity that was never truly yours. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe slowly. There is no rush. You have run for so long, trying to become something, trying to prove something, trying to meet expectations that were never even yours. Let me tell you a story. Very old, very quiet, but very true. There was once a man who believed he was broken. From a young age, others told him what he should be. You must be strong. You must be smart. You must be successful. So he wore masks, one for strength, one for charm, one for perfection. Each mask was shaped, not from his own heart, but from the voices of others. One day he walked into a forest to escape the noise. The trees did not ask who he was. The birds did not need his resume. The wind did not care about his achievements. In the silence, he sat, and for the first time, he asked, "Who am I without all of this?" Now I ask you the same, who are you without the roles? Without the name others gave you? Without the weight of comparison? So many people live their entire lives performing for a stage that doesn't even exist. They silence their real voice. Not because it isn't true, but because they're afraid it won't be accepted. This is the suffering of the false self. You were born pure as morning light, but over time, layers were added. Be more like your cousin. Act like a man. Good girls don't behave like that. You should smile more. Every comment, every judgment was like paint covering the original canvas of your soul. But here's something simple and sacred. The original you is not lost. It is only covered like the moon behind clouds. Your truth is still shining. You don't need to invent a new version of yourself. You simply need to remove what is not yours. Not loudly, not with rage, but in quiet, sacred stillness. Let me share a final Zen story. A young monk came to the master and said, "I want to be like you, peaceful, wise, respected." The master smiled. "Then remove everything that is not peaceful, not wise, not yours." The boy asked, "But how will I know what isn't me?" The Master touched his chest and replied, anything that feels heavy inside, anything you wear just to be liked, that is not yours. This is the way of silent letting go. Do not fight the false self. Do not argue with the world. Just start walking away from what doesn't feel like home in your heart. Maybe you're carrying the identity of the strong one, the one who never breaks, but inside, you are exhausted. Let it go. Maybe you're known as the funny one, always laughing, always smiling. But it's a mask to hide the sadness you never speak of. Let it go. Maybe you are praised for your success, but every day feels hollow. Let it go. Return to yourself. In silence, with courage, with love. You are not here to perform. You are here to live, and the more you remove what is not you, the more the real you begin to rise. Softly, steadily, like the moon emerging from behind the clouds. You don't have to shine for anyone. Just don't dim your light for anyone either. Because your truth, in its quiet power, is already enough. Now close your eyes, take one more breath, and begin the gentle walk back home to yourself. Identity in Buddhism is like a robe. It keeps you warm in the cold, but when the sun rises, it becomes too heavy. Still we hold on, not because we need it, but because we fear being exposed. We fear what's underneath. But the truth is, your soul is already enough. You don't need to become more, you need to become less. Less of what was placed upon you, less of what was never yours, less of what was forced into your story. There is a deep freedom in simplicity. The Buddha did not awaken by becoming something. He awakened by letting go of identity, of ego, of all false selves. He sat beneath the Bodhi tree, not to gather more but to drop it all, and so must you. No announcement is needed, no explanation required. Just begin, quietly, gently, inwardly, to peel back the layers. Start by noticing what brings you anxiety, what roles leave you exhausted, what titles no longer feel true. If you feel empty, it's not because something is missing, it's because something doesn't belong. Sometimes healing doesn't come from adding more, but subtracting what was never real. In silence, release the pressure to be perfect. In silence, step away from performance. In silence, stop being the one who always has it together. Do you know the quiet power of a river? It flows without shouting. It carves through mountains, not with force, but with quiet persistence. Be like the river. Let false identities wash away. And remember, no one else needs to understand your journey. It is yours, sacred, true. Some will say, you've changed. Smile. Say nothing. You're not changing. You are returning to the child who laughed without fear, to the one who didn't need applause, to the one who felt whole in stillness. This is not rebellion. This is not selfishness. This is clarity. You don't need to live as a version of yourself that pleases the world, but destroys your peace. Let go. You are not the opinions of others. You are not the roles they gave you. You are not the labels they stuck on you when you were too young to resist. You are something deeper, so much deeper, and that depth can only be found when the noise fades, when the mirrors break, when the masks fall. So tonight, before you sleep, sit with yourself, breathe, whisper the names of the false identities you've carried, and with each breath, release one. I am not the always happy one. Exhale. I am not the fixer of everyone's pain. Exhale. I am not society's puppet. Exhale. This is not dramatic. This is sacred. The greatest transformations do not shout. They happen quietly, in the dark, in the stillness, within. One day, you'll walk into a room and feel no need to prove anything. You'll speak without overthinking. You'll rest without guilt. You'll simply be. And in that moment, you'll smile. Not because you became someone new, but because you finally came home to the real you, the free you, the peaceful you, on silent removing people who drain you. There is something deeply sacred about the people we allow into our lives. Some arrive like the morning sun, bringing warmth without asking anything. Some pass like the breeze, present for a moment, gone with grace. And some come like a storm, exciting at first, but slowly, they pull apart your peace without a word. No yelling, no drama, just exhaustion. You feel tired around them, drained, but unsure why. You don't need to hate them. You don't even need to say goodbye loudly. But you must learn to remove them silently. This is the Zen way. Not to fight, not to confront, but to observe. A Zen master does not chase peace. He notices what disturbs it and removes that. So begin here. Sit in silence. Breathe. Reflect. Who brings more confusion than clarity? Who do you feel small around? Who do you always have to explain yourself to? Who makes you walk on eggshells? Sometimes it's a friend, the one who always talks, but never listens, who drains you, demands from you, but never sees you. Sometimes it's family, and that's even harder. But even then, your energy must be protected. Love does not mean allowing yourself to be hurt again and again. And sometimes it's someone you admired, someone who fed off your kindness, your silence, your inability to say no. They don't shout, but their presence feels heavy. Just seeing their name brings dread. That is your soul speaking. In Buddhism we say, if something causes suffering, but you continue to hold on, then the suffering is no longer the thing. It is you. Letting go silently is not weakness. It is maturity. It is wisdom. It is protection. You don't need to post about it. You don't need to explain it. You just shift. Give less time. Fewer reactions. No more explanations. And slowly, you become light. A Zen master once said, "Let people wonder why you disappeared. Let silence be your goodbye." There's no need to slam the door. Just walk out, quietly. If they question your silence, you owe no answer. Your peace is answer enough. The energy you carry is sacred. Protect it, like a flame in the wind. Don't expose it to storms that have no place in your sky. The art of quiet removal and releasing expectations. There are people who only come to see what they can take. Your kindness, your time, your light. And when they've had enough, they leave you empty. You don't need to hate them, but you do need to release them. Not out of anger, but out of wisdom. Begin here. Reduce the attention you give to what does not feed your soul. Reply slower. Speak less. If your heart does not feel safe, you do not have to force connection. You do not owe your presence to anyone who brings you inner chaos. And remember this, you are not a bad person for needing peace. You are not selfish for protecting your mind. Even the Buddha walked away from gold, from glory, from praise to sit under a tree in silence. Why? Because peace was more important than applause, truth more valuable than comfort. Be like the Buddha. Be like the tree, still, rooted, aware. There will be guilt at first. Your mind will whisper, am I being too harsh? Am I losing something meaningful? But that's the trick of attachment, because deep down, you know, some people only remain because you keep opening the door. Once you stop, they disappear. And that is your answer. A person who truly values your presence will not drain your energy. They will nourish it. They will uplift it. Their words will heal. Their silence will comfort. Their absence will not bring relief, but a sense of loss. But those who vanish, when you stop serving their needs, they were never companions. They were takers, and your peace was the price. So today, stop paying that price. Choose to delete them, not with cruelty, but with clarity. You don't need to send a message. You don't need to argue. You don't need a dramatic reason. Sometimes, the absence of peace is reason enough. And once they are gone, feel how your inner world shifts, how your thoughts soften, how your breath deepens, how your energy returns. That is the reward of silent letting go. And here's a deeper truth. When you stop allowing draining people into your sacred space, something beautiful happens. You make room for those who arrive with light, with presence, with honesty, with peace, but they cannot enter a room that's still crowded. You must make space. The Zen Master walks barefoot through the forest, carrying nothing unnecessary. He walks light, free, aware. He listens to the wind, not the noise of the world. He chooses his company as carefully as he chooses his words. Be that master. Choose peace over people. Choose silence over noise. Choose yourself. And remember this: the loudest changes happen in silence. The deepest healing comes without a sound, and the most powerful goodbyes are spoken without a word. Walk away and let your peace speak louder than any explanation ever could. Erasing expectations without losing compassion. There is a quiet burden many carry, not seen, but felt deeply in the heart. It is the burden of expectations, the unseen chains that tie us to the future, to others, and even to ourselves. In this space, we learn how to gently release those chains without losing our compassion, without losing our heart. Expectations are like invisible puppeteers pulling at our strings, making us dance to the rhythm of imagined outcomes. We expect people to behave a certain way. We expect ourselves to achieve, to succeed, to win. We expect life to follow a script we wrote in our mind. But when life does not read from that script, suffering arises, disappointment, frustration, anger, and grief. Understand this clearly. Expectations are born from the desire to control. We want life to go just right. We crave certainty, and when reality resists our design, the mind rebels. And that rebellion is the root of suffering. But the Zen path does not ask us to stop dreaming. It asks us to soften our grip. Imagine a river. It flows freely, winding through valleys and stone. If you build a dam, you interrupt its wisdom. You may stop the floods, but you also stop the life it brings. Let expectations be like that river, not rigid, but flowing. Not demanding, but guiding. In Buddhism, we are taught the practice of non-attachment. It does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop clutching. It means we can love without control, hope without demand, dream without despair. When we release the weight of expectations, life breathes again. People surprise us, sometimes beautifully, sometimes painfully, but we stop trying to make them fit our picture. We begin to see them as they are, not as we imagined, and that is the beginning of true compassion. Erasing expectations, a quiet path to freedom. We begin to realize that many of our expectations are illusions, shaped by fear, past pain, or societal norms. Often we expect friends and family to act in ways that make us feel safe or validated. But people aren't here to fulfill our scripts. Each soul walks its own path, carrying unique lessons and trials. Clinging to how we think others should behave only leads to disappointment. True compassion invites us to accept people as they are, not as we wish them to be. It doesn't mean tolerating harm. It means setting loving boundaries without trying to control. Compassion isn't cold detachment. It's a warm understanding that we are all imperfect and still becoming. When we release the demand for others to be different, we make room for genuine connection and inner peace. Letting go of expectations toward ourselves is perhaps even more vital. So often we are our own harshest critics. We demand perfection, constant success, flawless appearances, and when we fall short, we suffer silently. But Zen teaches us that self-compassion is the first doorway to liberation. To be gentle with ourselves, to recognize our pain without judgment, is to begin healing. There's a well-known Zen story. A man carried a heavy load of expectation. One day a master asked him, "Why do you carry this burden?" The man answered, "Because I must." The master smiled. "Put it down, just for a moment." The man hesitated, but did as he was told. Instantly, he felt lighter. "Now," said the master, "walk your path without that weight." The message is simple yet profound. Expectations are burdens we can choose to release. Letting go begins with awareness. The next time you catch yourself expecting someone to act a certain way, pause. Ask, is this helping me or hurting me? Am I holding on to an image, not the truth? This awareness gives you space to choose a different response. Meditation can help here. Sitting quietly, observing thoughts without judgment, you begin to notice how expectations arise and pass. You learn they're not you. They're just clouds drifting through the sky of your awareness. Another practice is mindful communication. When hurt or frustrated, speak without blame. Instead of accusing, say, I feel hurt because I expected something different. This softens the moment and opens space for understanding, and each day, gently remind yourself, I accept what is, even if it's not what I wanted. This isn't giving up, it's courageously facing reality as it. And from that grounded place, real change becomes possible without suffering. Some worry that letting go of expectations means not caring anymore, but it's the opposite. True compassion lives beyond control and judgment. When we release expectations, we don't close our hearts. We open them wider. Free from disappointment, we begin to see people and ourselves more clearly. This shift changes everything. Relationships deepen. We stop trying to fix others and start appreciating them. We stop chasing ideal outcomes and begin finding joy in the present. Patience grows. So does kindness. You may ask, should I stop hoping, stop striving? Not at all. Hope and effort are healthy when rooted in acceptance, like a gardener tending plants without forcing them to grow overnight. We nurture, we water, but we respect the timing we can't control. Letting go of expectations is choosing peace over struggle. It's walking lightly with an open heart through life's uncertainty. As Buddhism teaches, you only lose what you cling to. Expectations are shadows. The present is light. This journey isn't easy. Old habits return. The mind will cry for control, for certainty, but with practice and gentleness, its grip weakens. Be patient with yourself. Every moment is a chance to choose freedom over fear, love over judgment. In erasing expectations, you don't lose who you are. You become more peaceful, more open, more free. So walk gently, friend. Let go quietly, and watch your heart bloom. The silent exit from comparison. Now pause with me. Breathe. Close your eyes if you like, and listen not with your ears, but with your heart. There's a quiet battle inside many minds. It doesn't shout, it doesn't announce itself, but it eats away silently. That battle is comparison. Its soldiers are envy, jealousy, and endless competition. Unless we erase these quietly, they will haunt us without end. In a peaceful village long ago, a young man came to me and said, Master, why do I feel like I'm never enough? No matter how much I do, someone else is always ahead. The silent exit from comparison. More applause. These are the silent standards, haunting so many hearts. I looked into the eyes of a tired young man and asked, who taught you that someone else's path was meant for your feet? Comparison is the thief of joy. It doesn't care how far you've come, only how far others appear to be going. And it lies. It whispers that their success means your failure, that their light dims your own. But this has never been true. Do the bamboo and the oak argue about who stands taller? Do the clouds compete to see who drifts better? No, they simply exist, fully, calmly, in harmony with what they are. But modern life teaches us to race. We race friends, strangers, even people we've never met online. Someone's vacation becomes the reason we feel poor. Someone's body becomes the reason we shame our own. Someone's spotlight becomes the shadow over our peace. Envy is a quiet poison wearing a kind face. You smile when others win, but something inside you burns, not because they succeeded, but because you've been tricked into believing you're behind. But behind what? Behind who? Life is not a line, it's not a queue. Life is a garden. And in a garden, every flower blooms in its own time. Let me share a story. Two monks walked through a forest. One looked troubled, The other was calm. Finally, the first said, "Why are you always so at peace? We started together, but I feel like you're far ahead in your practice. I feel left behind." The second monk smiled and said, "Brother, the river flows in its own way. Some parts rush, some trickle, but all water reaches the ocean in time. The moment we compare rivers, we forget to enjoy the sound of the stream." Think, how many moments of happiness have you lost because you were too busy watching someone else's life? A birthday that felt small because someone had a bigger cake. A peaceful home that seemed not enough because someone flaunted a mansion. A kind partner who felt less valuable because someone else posted diamond rings. These are not problems. They are illusions, shadows that trick the mind. Buddha taught, see clearly, without judgment. Not as your ego wishes things to be, but as they are. And when you see clearly, you'll notice something important. Envy grows where fear lives. Fear that you're not enough. Fear that you're falling behind. Fear that you're invisible. But here's a secret. No soul is ever late. No path is ever wrong if it leads you to awareness. You are not here to match someone else's timeline. You are not a copy. You are a unique unfolding of the universe. One of a kind. Priceless. But to feel that truth, you must delete comparison in silence. Not loudly, not dramatically. Don't say I'll never compare again. That too is ego talking. Instead, just observe. When envy rises, don't feed it. Don't scroll more. Don't chase someone's highlight reel. Just pause, breathe, and whisper gently to yourself, I am walking my own path. Competition hides in ambition. It pretends to be motivation. But when you chase dreams just to outshine others, you'll never rest. There will always be someone else. The mountain will never end. Let your ambition grow from purpose, not from comparison. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? Not what others praise, not what others post, but what sets my soul on fire. The lotus does not bloom to be better than the rose. It blooms because it's time. It blooms because the sun called it upward. And so should you. Bloom not for applause, but for your own becoming. Envy says, you are not enough, but silence replies, I already am. So let it go. Not with revenge, not with noise, not with anger. Just quietly leave the room where competition lives. Turn off the screen that feeds your insecurity. Walk away from conversations that keep score. Exit the race that has no finish line. Return to your breath, simple, sacred, yours. This is the space where envy cannot survive. Some may ask, but how do I stop comparing when the world constantly reminds me of what I lack? And I'll answer, stop looking at the world. Start looking within. See your small joys, your quiet victories, your simple peace. Build your own garden, instead of staring over someone else's fence. Silence is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. When you delete comparison in silence, no one sees the moment, but you feel the freedom. And yes, envy will return sometimes. That's okay. Be kind to yourself. Notice it, acknowledge it, and gently let it pass like a cloud. Because nothing outside of you defines your worth. Not likes, not followers, not trophies, not wealth. Your worth lives in how deeply you love, how peacefully you rest, how kindly you walk through the world. In the end, the only person you must be better than is the version of you that once doubted your worth. So sit again, breathe again, smile gently, begin again, free from comparison, full of peace. You are already enough, and in your silence, you rise, detached from illusions, rooted in truth. Now come, sit with me again. Let me remind you of something most people forget. Something so simple, yet so freeing. The quiet surrender, letting go of control. You don't control as much as you think you do. From the moment you open your eyes, the mind begins to plan what to eat, what to wear, how the day should go, how others should behave, how life should reward your effort. You try to hold every thread of life in your hands, weaving them tightly so nothing unravels. But let me ask you gently, has it ever truly gone the way you expected? Think about it. You planned, and life changed. You gave your best and still, things slipped away. You hoped and people left, and every time what followed? Frustration, disappointment, grief. These emotions all rise from one root, the illusion of control. The truth? Most of life is not in your hands. Not the weather, no other people's thoughts, not the past, not the future, not even your next breath is promised. And yet we cling, as if worrying harder will give us power, as if controlling outcomes will shield us from pain. But control is a trick of the mind. It promises safety, but gives only anxiety. Let me share a Zen story. A man once carried a bowl of water across a rocky path. He gripped it with both hands, eyes wide, breath tight. "I must not spill a drop," he whispered. Every step was fear, every rock beneath him a threat. When he reached the end, he looked down and the bowl was nearly empty. The water had spilled with each anxious step. Later another man walked the same path. He held the bowl loosely. He walked with calm, accepting the bumps. He smiled. When he reached the other side, his bowl was still half full. What's the lesson? Control doesn't always protect you. Sometimes it drains you more than the fall ever could. In Buddhism there's a teaching called anatta non-self. It reminds us that there is no permanent self pulling the strings. Life flows on its own, arising and passing beyond our grasp. So what do? We observe. We respond. We let go. We do not force. We do not fight. Like the tree that bends with the wind, like the river that flows around the rock, like the sky that accepts the storm without protest. Still, I know, letting go feels unsafe. The mind says, if I don't hold on, I'll lose everything. But look closely, what exactly are you holding on to? Are you trying to control someone's love, fix the past, force a future, make someone change? These are heavy loads, and all of them are outside your control. The tighter you grip, the more you suffer. But there is a quiet way forward, a peaceful path away from control. Step 1. Accept uncertainty. Yes, accept that you don't know and cannot know. Life is unpredictable, but unpredictability isn't always cruel. Sometimes it brings blessings you never imagined. Sometimes the plan you clung to was a dead end. Surrender is not failure. It is trust. Trust that whatever comes, you'll find your way. Step 2. Watch your expectations. Control often wears the mask of expectation. You expect a reply. You expect to be understood, appreciated, seen. You expect things to go smoothly. And when they don't, pain. So loosen your grip. Don't lower your standards. Just release the script. Be curious instead of controlling. Step 3. Practice silence. When life doesn't go your way, pause. Not everything needs a reaction. Not every situation needs fixing. Let the pieces fall. Let clarity rise from stillness. The world will not collapse if you take a breath. Now, try something small and powerful. Close your eyes. Think of one thing you're trying so hard to control. A person, a plan, an outcome. Now ask yourself, what would happen if I released this just a little? Not abandoned it, just loosened your grip. Feel the space that opens. That space is called peace. The Buddha once said, you only lose what you cling to. If control brings tension, then release brings freedom. This is not theory. This is truth you can feel. Let go gently, not because you've given up, but because you're finally beginning to trust. The gentle power of silent surrender. It is real. When you silently let go of control, your shoulders drop, your breath slows, your mind softens, and you begin to live again. Let me offer you a story. There was once a monk who planted a seed. Every day he watered it, but every day he also dug it up, checking if it had started growing. Why isn't it sprouting? He worried. So he gave it more water, more sunlight, more attention, until one day the seed died. Not from neglect, but from too much interference. You see, things grow when you give them space. Love grows in freedom. Healing unfolds in time. Growth thrives in trust. Trying to force life is like holding a butterfly in a closed fist. You may mean well, but you crush what you try to control. So how do you move forward? Practice silent detachment. Not with drama, not with loud declarations. Just let go, quietly. If someone doesn't value your presence, don't chase. Step back. If a situation slips from your hands, do your part, then release. If your plans unravel, pause. Maybe a better path is unfolding, where you cannot yet see. Let go not with anger, but with grace. In Zen we say, let things come and go. Sit still, you are the sky. Everything else is just the weather. Stop chasing storms. You're not here to control the wind. You're here to be still inside it. There is immense power in silent surrender. Not the surrender of giving up, but the surrender of knowing what is no longer yours to hold. So walk lightly, breathe deeply, and when life pulls away from your plans, don't panic, smile gently, and whisper to yourself, this too is part of the path. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the space where control dies, and freedom is born. Now return to your life, not with clenched fists, but with an open heart. Let go in silence, and let life surprise you. That is all for today. I will meet you again when your hands are ready to receive what your soul was meant to carry, all along. But first, you must let go of what was never yours. Silently, completely, without a word, just breathe. That is enough. Clearing the mind, a return to stillness. Remove the clutter, the distractions, the mental noise. Sit down. Just for a moment. Don't reach for your phone. Don't turn on the television. Don't scroll. Don't swipe. Just sit. Be still. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now listen. Do you hear it? That stream of thoughts, running endlessly like a river, replaying yesterday, worrying about tomorrow, judging, planning, fearing, remembering, comparing. That's mental noise. And my dear one, that noise is what stands between you and peace. Most people wake up, and before their eyes fully open, the thoughts flood in. What do I need to do today? Did they message me back? Am I falling behind? What did they mean by what they said yesterday? Before you even get out of bed, your mind is already full. So full, there's no space left for you. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you sat with yourself, with absolutely nothing to distract you? No screen, no music, no food, no conversation, just silence. If you can't remember, it's not your fault. The modern world is built on noise. It thrives on your attention. Every platform, every ad, every ping is a hand pulling you further away from your own stillness. It says don't sit still, don't be quiet. Keep scrolling, keep watching, keep lying, keep wanting, and without realizing it, you carry around an overcrowded mind. And then you wonder, why am I tired? Why can't I focus? Why do I feel anxious, unfulfilled, even when I seem to have so much? In Buddhism we call this the monkey mind. Like a monkey swinging from branch to branch, your thoughts leap from one worry to the next, never still, never satisfied, and the monkey never sits. The monkey never breathes. The monkey never says, this moment is enough. But here's the truth I want you to hear. You don't need to chase peace. You need to remove what blocks it. Mental clutter is not something you fight. You don't win peace by force. You don't yell at your thoughts to be quiet. You don't conquer the mind with noise. You simply observe. The silent war within. You let the noise rise, and then you let it fall. You don't fight it. You don't feed it. You simply sit with it, without judgment. And each time your mind wanders, you return, gently, silently, to your breath. Again, and again, and again. This is the path. You cannot clean your house by shouting at the dust. You sweep slowly, one corner at a time. The same is true for the mind. You won't empty it in a single day, but you can begin. Start with the small things. Delete unnecessary opinions. Not every thought needs a reply. Not every argument deserves your energy. Let people talk. Let the world spin. You don't have to explain. You don't have to react. Delete digital distractions. Do you really need to check your phone 50 times a day? Each time you do, your mind drifts a little further from this moment. Try leaving it for 1 hour, then 2. Notice how the silence slowly returns. Delete multitasking. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you sit, just sit. The moment becomes sacred when it holds your full attention. That is Zen. Simple, awake, whole. Delete the habit of constant stimulation. You don't always need music. You don't always need background noise. Try sitting in a quiet room. Try walking without headphones. Let the world speak to you again. The rustle of leaves, the rhythm of your steps, the steady beat of your own heart. Life is talking to you, but you cannot hear it if your head is full. And now you might ask, how do I stop overthinking? My dear one, that is the wrong question. You don't stop overthinking by thinking more. You stop by returning to what is real. Your breath, your body. This moment, when thoughts try to carry you away, say softly, "Not now," and return. In Zen, we don't try to beat the mind into silence. We don't aim to become thoughtless stones. We accept that the mind is wild, but we train it with gentleness, with daily practice, with patience. A stirred lake cannot reflect the sky, but once it stills, everything becomes clear. Your mind is the same. Your wisdom is already there, deep beneath the surface. You don't need to add anything. You just need to let the surface become still. Let me share a simple story. A monk once asked his master, "How do I find peace?" The master poured tea into an already full cup. It spilled over. He said, "See, you are full already. No more wisdom can enter. First, empty your cup. And so, my dear friend, empty your cup. Delete the mental noise. Delete the guilt of not being busy. Delete the belief that you're behind. Delete the voice that says you're not enough. None of that belongs to your true nature. Your true self is not loud. It is calm, soft, wise, silent. And I know, in the beginning, silence feels strange, like something is missing. But stay, breathe, watch. That silence is not emptiness. It is spaciousness. In that space, something sacred grows. You begin to feel again. You begin to see what really matters. You begin to notice joy in a falling leaf, a soft breeze, a quiet smile, a cup of tea. These are not small things. They are life itself, and once the noise is gone, they begin to speak. So make space, gently. Don't announce. Don't strive. Just delete what clutters, thought by thought. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to this moment. That is how the Zen path begins. Not with noise, but with silence. Not with more, but with less. Let the world chase. Let others shout. You observe. Let distractions knock. You smile and do not answer. Because you've remembered something powerful. Peace doesn't come from having more. It comes from needing less. And in that stillness, you find yourself again. Free from inner conflict, free from the war of wanting. Now sit down gently. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in, and a slower breath out. Let the world fall away for just a moment. You are here now. You have walked far. Step by step you've released the noise, the weight, the burden. But even when the outer world is silent, something still stirs inside. Even in peace, there's a whisper, a quiet conflict. You say you want to let go, but part of you still clings to the pain, to the past, to the fear of not being enough. You smile on the outside, but inside, you argue with yourself. Let me tell you a simple truth. The deepest prison is the one we build in our own minds. And the way out is not through struggle, it's through surrender, quiet, gentle, the end of resistance, coming home to yourself. The Buddha did not teach us how to conquer the world. He taught us how to sit quietly within ourselves, not as warriors of the outer world, but as gentle observers of the inner one. Because when there is no enemy within, no enemy outside can truly harm you. But what is this inner enemy? What is this silent resistance? It's the part of you that refuses to accept. It wants control. It wants everything to go your way. It wants to be understood, respected, never hurt. And when reality doesn't match that script, it becomes restless, angry, afraid. This is resist. It hides behind overthinking, behind fear, behind perfectionism. It wears the mask of guilt. It disguises itself as self-improvement. It tells you, fix this, fix them, fix the past, fix the future, fix yourself. But here's the truth. The more you try to force peace, the more it slips through your hands, because peace is not something you create through effort. Peace is what remains when you stop resisting what already is. Listen closely. You don't have to like everything that happens in your life. You don't have to agree, but can you stop fighting it? You can let something be true without letting it steal your peace. Picture water flowing down a mountain river. If there's no rock, it glides smoothly. If there is a rock, it doesn't stop. It doesn't fight, it bends. It flows around. It continues. Be like that water, soft, but unstoppable. But the ego resists this. It says, I must win. I must be right. I must prove. I must be seen. I must be accepted. Don't hate that voice. Don't fight it. That voice is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It shows you where you're stuck. And so don't say, I must destroy my ego. That is ego again. That is another fight. Instead, be still. Watch the voice. Smile at it. The moment you become the witness, not the fighter, transformation begins. There is a story in the Zen tradition. A student once came to his master and said, Master, I feel torn inside, like there are two parts of me always at war. The master replied, Yes, one is your conditioned self, full of fear and reaction. The other is your silent self, the one who watches. Feed the silent one. How? The student asked. The master said, every time you choose presence over panic, silence over reaction, acceptance over resistance, you are feeding the peaceful one. Let's go deeper. You may feel anxious. You may feel angry. You may feel heavy with sadness. That's okay. Don't suppress it. Don't fight it. Just sit with it. The way a mother holds her crying child, not to stop the tears, but to give space for them to be. That alone is enough. Most of our pain doesn't come from the emotion itself. It comes from our refusal to let it be. Pain says, I'm here. Resistance says, you should not be here. And that's how the war begins. But if you say, yes, pain, I see you, stay as long as you need, something shifts, the pain softens, the war ends, and in that moment, healing begins. Let me remind you, you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are the one witnessing them. Thoughts are clouds, emotions are waves. You are the sky, you are the ocean. So don't chase peace, don't demand it. Stop running from this moment. If your heart is racing, sit with it. If your mind is loud, breathe with it. If your body is tense, soften your jaw, your shoulders, your hands. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to stop resisting what is. Yes, life may not go as planned. People may not treat you as you hoped. The world may be unfair. But inside you there is still a space untouched, a deep, unmoving stillness. That is your true home. Zen is not about fixing your life. Zen is about returning to that silent center, again and again. You can cry and still be at peace. You can feel uncertain and still be grounded. You can let life flow without needing to control the river. Let go of the stories of what should have happened, of how people should behave, of where you should be by now. They are clouds. Don't build your life on them. Return here, to this breath, this moment, this body. The battle ends when you stop showing up to fight. So ask yourself gently, what am I still fighting in silence? What haven't I accepted yet? Where am I still at war with myself? Then breathe and release. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply waking up. Step by step, thought by thought, breath by breath. You are coming home. Let the silence teach you. Let go. Remember, you don't need to force yourself to be free. You only need to stop clinging to what keeps you trapped. Do nothing. Just be. That is enough. The final cleanse, living light, free and unshaken. This is peace, and peace was never free. It was always within you, quietly waiting beneath all that noise. You just had to stop resisting long enough to notice it. So now, sit, breathe, be still, and listen closely. You've come far, so far. You walked through silence. You let go, quietly, gently, of what no longer served your soul. You released the heavy weights, one by one, without applause, without noise. And now you've arrived at the final step, and it is the most beautiful of all. Let me tell you something simple, but sacred. When you delete what doesn't belong in your life, you don't lose anything. You uncover everything. You uncover what was always there, freedom. But don't rush. Stay here with me. This final cleanse is not about doing more, not about fixing anyone, not even about fixing yourself. It's about being, just being, light, free, unshaken. You see, we've been trained to hold on, to grip tightly, to people, promises, plans, pain, pressure. We even hold on to our failures as if they define who we are. But freedom isn't about holding on. It's about letting go until only peace remains. You may ask, but what if I let go and I feel empty? And I will smile and say, good, beautiful, because that emptiness isn't a loss. It is a sacred space, a clean space, a space where peace can grow, where joy returns, where truth enters. Think of a teacup. If it's full of muddy water, you can't fill it with clear tea. You must empty it first. You too have emptied your cup, bit by bit, breath by breath. Now it's time to fill it with wisdom. Let me offer you 4 truths, 4 seeds for your empty cup to help you live light, free, and unshaken. First, you are not your past. Yes, it happened. Yes, it shaped you. But no, it does not own you. You are not the pain, not the regret, not the bad choices, not the names they called you. You are the one who witnessed it all, felt it all, and survived. That awareness, that is your true self, and it is unshaken. Second, you are not here to carry what isn't yours. Others will hand you their fear, their expectations, their guilt, their jealousy, their chaos. They want you to carry their storms, but you are not a bin for their emotions. You are a temple of stillness. You are allowed to walk away, quietly, without guilt, without explanation. Third, you do not need to prove your worth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you chose peace, why you became quiet, why you let go. You are not here to perform. You are here to live truthfully, humbly, fully. A tree does not explain its growth. The river does not justify its path. Neither should you. Fourth, silence is your greatest strength. The world is loud. It shouts. It scrolls. It races. But silence is sacred. The lotus blooms in silence. The Buddha awakened in silence. And you will find yourself in silence too. Let me share a final story. A student once asked a Zen master, "What must I do to find peace?" The master replied, "Delete 3 things: the noise from your mind, the poison from your heart, and the weight from your life. The student asked, "And how will I know when I've done that?" The master smiled and said, "When you can sit alone in silence and feel like you have everything you need. And now, my dear one, if you've walked this path, deleting false friends, quieting old wounds, releasing toxic thoughts, erasing the need to chase, then this moment is yours. You have done well, and now it's time not to do more but to live. Live without explaining. Live without shrinking. Live without forcing. Let things come. Let things go. Let them change. Stay rooted like a mountain, but soft like water. When someone leaves, bow gently and continue. When someone stays, be grateful but not dependent. When something hurts, breathe, observe, and release. When life tests you, stay calm and do not react. This is the art of living free and unshaken. So sit once more, breathe deeply, feel the silence around you. Now feel the silence within you. This is peace. It was always here. You simply had to let go long enough to see it. Welcome home. And now, in the final breath of this teaching, allow me to offer you one last truth. You are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to walk alone. You are allowed to choose peace over performance. And you are allowed to protect your energy, your time, your space, without guilt. This is not selfish. This is sacred. So now, as your guide on this path of quiet wisdom, I ask you to do something gentle. Don't clap. Don't comment yet. Don't rush to share. Just sit, close your eyes, and after this video ends, ask yourself, softly, what is the one last thing I am still carrying? You will know, and when you do, release it silently, gently, lovingly. Let it, then take one deep breath, and smile, because now you are free. And before you go, this was the final chapter in the series, Things You Must Delete from Your Life in Silence. If even one line stayed in your heart, if something here helped you breathe a little easier, don't let this moment pass like a whisper. There are so many viewers on this channel, but only 4.2% have subscribed. If this space brought you peace, help us bring it to someone else. Please take a quiet moment to like, share, and subscribe to Insightful Journey. It supports our growth, and more importantly, it helps others find the stillness that found you. We are deeply honored to walk this path beside you. May your silence be your strength. May your letting go be your lightness. And may your life, from this moment forward, be lived in deep, quiet freedom. We'll see you again when your heart is ready. Until then, just